What's up? Woo! What's up, everybody? It's your favorite officer, the goddamn policeman, also the goddamn law, Charles Faulkner. I know some people missed the show yesterday, where I talked some about this case. Just treat this as a continuation, please. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, donate if you feel inclined. Support black male media. I don't know too many people who have the credentials to talk about this. But I'll let you know, I'm not an expert, but I might know a little something about law enforcement, maybe, sort of, kind of. Sort of, kind of, sort of. We got J.L. Nichols. We got the artisan known as MC. We got Snowman Multimedia. Burn. We got Namer. Indigo with the Flow. And let me address this real quick, okay? Slave catchers, law enforcement did not, especially modern law enforcement, did not originate from slave catchers. Bail bondsmen originated from slave catchers. Modern policing started in England with Sir Robert Peel. There's a reason why they call them bobbies, nicknaming them after the father of modern policing, Sir Robert Peel. Modern policing started in London, not America. All right? Before we go with this slave catcher bullshit, you need to get your facts straight. A simple history book and a Google search will tell you. So, what's up, Leon? So, I like to speak on actual. Before we begin, last time I checked, we under a constitution where everybody's innocent before proven guilty. Yes, they may be law enforcement. Yes, some people may have some issues with law enforcement. But we got to give anybody and everybody who's held under these constitutional rights the same due process and respect. That still doesn't change what I'm going to say in my mind. So I'm going to start by saying I don't like bullies. I remember growing up as a little skinny kid in Baltimore, being accosted by bullies who were much bigger than me and stronger. So one day I told my father, he said, "Don't worry, boy, you'll get sick of people picking with you. When you do, hit them right there in the bridge of their nose." Remember second grade, this one kid, much bigger, much taller, hit him right there in the nose. He might have wanted to fight, but he didn't want no more after I broke his nose. So I don't like bullies. And just to let you know, I'm going to talk about theory and practice. Theory is the ideal standard if everything existed in a picture perfect world. Practice is when you're going through the motions of the actual events. So a lot of people need not talk about things that are outside their scope, that are outside the that are outside the scope of their knowledge, education, and training. For example, you do not see me challenge Dr. T.S.R. Johnson when it comes to cultural studies, which he holds a PhD in. You do not see me challenge Green Gorilla about philosophy, which he holds a PhD in. You do not see me challenging our artisan MC about carpentry, which he holds several certifications and years of experience in. You do not see me challenging the snowman when it comes to sports knowledge and broadcasting, which he has done for years. Now, I know that I'm going to have people who are going to be naysayers, maybe even ne'er-do-wells. But if you're going to challenge me, please show your proof of what you know. Please show me what you know. And I've been in law enforcement for nearly 2 decades. If you count my military time, I have well over 2 decades of holding a gun for God and country. So if we do the panel, don't come up here with your emotions, come up here with your facts, if you even have any. That being said, there's nothing wrong with law enforcement. It's just the people and sometimes the culture of it. Believe it or not, we're a lot better with police departments around the country than without them. I've been to countries where there's lawlessness. You don't want to be there. Look at Iraq after the invasion. Look at Afghanistan. I'm going to tell you, all this rhetoric about strong, independent women go out the fucking door when there's no police, no fire department, no paramedics, no EMTs, no sanitation engineers, no water, and no electricity. You're right. Mogadishu. Lawlessness. We are much better off with the police than without them. Which we shall know is a pure fact. Also, the actions of these 5 individuals are not representative of any department, any police officer, or black men in general. So, number one, we're going to look at all the members of the Scorpion unit, which the unit they were called. And we're going to look at them as individuals and not condemn the Memphis Department or American law enforcement in general. First and foremost, when they stop the vehicle, there are certain ways and parameters you have to look at it. Number one, as a police officer, speaking personally, there is a difference on how I'm going to stop a person who has a taillight out versus a vehicle that comes back with a stolen tag, or if I'm running the tags while we're driving. And prior to pulling them over, personally, they were overzealous with a God complex and bully tactics. Can we all agree on that? If you're pulling them over for what they allege, reckless driving, we still don't really know what they pulled them over for, and ripped them out the car. That is in itself right there dangerous, because what if he stopped the car not by putting it in the parking gear, but by only having his foot on the brake? Oh, trust me, MF Doom, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. One, there's a confusion of people giving orders. This isn't basic training where you have 2 or 3 drill sergeants yelling at you, get up, get down, get up, get down. Get the fuck down, get up, get up, get up. No. We're going to get there too. Because, there's a lot of ignorance when it comes to Miranda, okay? Namer, I may not be an expert, but I know a thing or two. MF Doom is right. They're giving too many orders. There should be only one person, the primary officer, agent, or detective, should be giving the orders. So there's no confusion, and that person does not suffer from sensory overload of yelling and bright lights, which you can very much see on the guy's face. He was going through a sensory overload. Next statement. Excessive force and forceful arrest. Let's break that down for a second, people. Let's break that down for a second, people. You can use force to initiate an arrest. I've done so several times. But let's juxtapose that against the times when people surrendered, no force was needed. I never went above the force that was needed. Excessive force is this. Excessive force is if you're chasing after the suspect turns around and wants to fight. Y'all both knuckling up. You can use kicks, punches, joint locks, tasers, pepper spray, batons, especially if he's empty-handed. Speaking of police, hey, what's up? What's up, my man? What's up, Josh? Now, if you go and the guy surrenders and he says, I don't want any more, and you hit him after that, you just went into excessive force. If you hit a suspect who was not attacking in handcuffs, you just committed excessive force. Okay? Notice the key words, not attacking. I had a guy who was handcuffed and he cocked his leg back and kicked me in my knee when he was on his hip. If I was facing him, if my knee was facing him, he could have tore my MCL and ACL out completely, crippling me. And to get him under, to subdue him, yes, I punched him in his chest twice while he was in handcuffs because he was still attacking. After those 2 punches, he gave up. So I was well within my realms of using force, the appropriate force, we should know. Now, we're going to go back to, did they read them his rights? Police do not have to read you your rights when they arrest you. Okay? This TV bullshit. They have to read you your rights when they're going to question you. If I'm not going to question you, if I have you arrested on a warrant, and this warrant matches your description, your name, I'm not going to question you. Now, if you're going through an excited utterance and you're going to incriminate yourself, it's best to give you your Mirandas then, because you were forewarned. But normal arrest where you already know what he did and how he did it, why he did it, no questioning. Okay, ding. Because usually when you take him to the station, he's going to be questioned by detectives, and they will read his Miranda rights because they're questioning him. What's up, checking for you? So, when they pulled him out the car or the vehicle, they did what was called a felony car stop. A felony car stop is when you approach the vehicle, put your guns out, or you're at your vehicle at a distance on a loudspeaker or yelling if you got that type of voice, giving commands for him to come out with his hands up. As you can see in the video, there was a lot of disorder and misinformation given around. Too many people talking, too many people giving conflicting orders. If you're telling a guy to get on the ground and he's already on the ground, what sense does that make? If you're telling a guy to roll on his stomach when someone's holding his right hand behind him, it's pretty much biologically or mechanically impossible to do that. So instead of yelling and screaming, these guys should at least work like a team and say, hey, you grab the left, I grab the right. Put his arms behind him. You stay on his legs so he can't run or kick. You watch his head to make sure he can still breathe. And if he's trying to bite or spit on one of us. You don't get any of that. In the military, it happens as well. Instead of working like a team in a cohesive unit, you're working like a bunch of thugs. It looked like a mafia hit. It was very much like akin to a jail riot instead of a strategic arrest. I know that there's some people think that, oh, you cooning because you said before that you don't mind police using force. No, I don't. Sometimes you have to use force. I'm going to make a lot of these wannabe liberals sad by making this statement. Sometimes to protect life, you may be called to take a life. This is not one of those situations. The first duty an officer has is one, to himself, not to put himself in a reckless situation, and then two, the preservation of life. These 5 officers failed in both. See, MF Dame, you kicking the chair, man. You kicking the chair. Kicking the chair. One, we got to look at things, and trust me, the Donner situation, I'm going to talk about that later. The Donner situation, there's a lot of shit I couldn't rock with. That he did. Because when it's one thing if you're fighting combatives, but when you pull people, innocent people into a fray, that's shit I can't fuck with. Well, I know up in Philly is just Pennsylvania's version of Baltimore. But y'all got some cool ass comic book shops, I give you that much. And barbershops. When they're pulling him and twisting him, I do agree with MF Doom. They were not trying to arrest him. They were trying to assault him. They were trying to teach him a lesson, so to speak. This is one reason why I've stated to many people, if I could revamp defense tactics, you would get basic wrestling, basic boxing, basic ground fighting. If you knew how to do an ankle lock or a heel hook, or at least know how to tie up the legs so the guy can't run, you wouldn't have to go to the realms of excessive force. Sorry. If you taught better team tactics, personally, if I could revamp policing, for every specialized unit you have, you should have a paramedic with you. A person who's already on the scene who can render aid, even though you have life-saving skills through the academy and in-service training. You could prevent a lot of these situations from going too far. There was no de-escalation. There was nobody who said, okay. He's done. He got enough. We got him. I don't even think any of the officers had over 10 years. I think the most they probably had is 5, 7 at max. There was no oversight. There was nobody to calm them down. There was no senior leadership, whether officers, to de-escalate and to give guidance. For these members of the Scorpion unit. I understand that you have specialized units who are there to combat high drug and high violence areas. But you need to give them sufficient training as a team. You need to give them all the resources you can so they don't have to use excessive force. There was a failure because usually units like these consist of younger officers who some can handle it, but there's too many cases of being high strung. And please, while we're giving this lecture, please give it a like, give it a share, and don't forget to, hit the boy with a cash app, a super chat. I'm giving y'all all this goddamn knowledge, man. Giving y'all all this goddamn. This is very similar to the Gun Trace Task Force, where there was not a lot of oversight. There wasn't a lieutenant. There was a lot of free reign without any checks and balances. There was no supervisor there present, no de-escalation. Shout out to my guy, MS Delta guy. Thanks for bringing your knowledge and expertise to this issue. I'm gonna give you something for that, man. Shout out to Troy West.
Now for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond! Plus!
Shout out to Miss Jackie up in the building. Long time no see, Miss Jackie.
By the power of Grayskull.
Now, Mr. West, what is your question? I'm going to tell you. Hey, Mr. West, you got a question? Because right now, I'm giving you comprehensive information about units like these. I appreciate the respect. Units like these are most of the time very necessary, because if you're in cities like Philadelphia, Chicago, Detroit, LA, Dade County, Miami, you're going to need You're going to need units to confront drugs, crime, and whatever things that are plaguing your city. That is not a golden ticket for you to act like the criminals you're supposed to pursue. You are supposed to still be an officer of the goddamn law. You're supposed to carry that badge with dignity, respect, and prestige. And too many of these units, when they don't have proper oversight and proper training and qualified personnel, you get incidents like these. Even when he was on the ground, instead of actually pulling out your taser, since you had 5 officers there, 2 of you could have subdued his legs. Actually, 1 of you could have. You could have rolled him to his stomach, handcuffed him, sit him back, have him cross his legs, and do what you got to do. Even though in my heart of hearts and professional opinion, I don't see where in the hell or any evidence that state that car stop was anything justified or legal. Emerald City effect? What do you mean by that? And plus, we're going to stay on topic today. And as soon as the guy gets up and start running, which, number one, in my professional opinion, should not happen if you got 5 guys on top of him. If you properly secure the man, they deploy a taser. Which obviously was ineffective because I guess it was pronged to his shirt, which he easily took it off and was running for several blocks. I have to say this for some of the naysayers who may be mad at me. Well, he should have complied. When you're a police officer, you're not always going to get people to comply. Not saying that he was a criminal, but to give an example, if somebody's committing a crime, it's their job to get away, it's your job to catch them. So expect some type of running or fleeing at some point, or maybe even fighting. Now, do I think that black people should comply? Yes, because court is not to be held on the street. It's in the courtroom. Your job is to survive the incident. Okay? Dead men rarely can ever tell stories. Your job is to survive that incident, get the officer's name, get the location where you were stopped, and make sure you have a valid complaint. Make sure everything's validated. If the officer just doing his job and he stops you because you had a legitimate brake light or you ran a light or a stop sign, hey, you got to eat it. It was your bad. But if he's doing something that's unbecoming of an officer, you have the right to complain. Oh boy, do they know? Do I know? I met some of the worst officers in those units, and I work with some of the best officers from those units. Very little middle ground, my dude. Very little middle ground. Now, while they were in pursuit during the foot chase, of course you'll hear some officers, you could be in shape or out of shape or whatever. When you're carrying 30 to 40 extra pounds of gear and you're running full speed, that shit adds up. Well, the police is paramilitary. It's not 100% pound for pound military. For example, your company commander is a captain in the Army and the Marine Corps. The district commander, which is the equivalent of the U.S. Army company commander, is a major. The XO is a captain. The shift commander, or the person in charge of the shift, is a lieutenant. The squad leaders are going to be your first line supervisors, usually a sergeant. In some places, like in the counties, you're going to have a corporal. Most state police you're going to have PFCs, you're going to have privates, you're going to have corporals, sergeants, sometimes staff sergeants. But it depends on the department. I'm back in slide again. Had a little technical with the difficulties. If you did not intervene, yes, you should be charged as well. You have a duty to intervene. Now, when they caught up with the guy during the second encounter, he was slammed to the ground. Okay, I get all that. I get all that. I get all that. I get all that. He was finally placed in handcuffs. While wrestling and fighting him with the handcuffs, what in God's holy name said it was okay to kick a man square in the face when he was not combative? He didn't have a weapon in his hand. You did not see him trying to get a weapon from the officers. And then you did it again, and I think a third time maybe. But I know you did too. What point was that? Then you have two officers while the man's handcuffed, picks him up, and one officer just strikes him several times with uppercuts to the face, rocking him. Then another officer hits him while he's standing up. And you can see him when he's dazed and rocked, and he goes down. And when you hear one of the body cams, they're literally bragging about how hard they hit this guy. The one officer who was doing the kicking kicked him so hard. Yep, running text. Yep. They kicked him so hard that he was limping and hurt his own foot. That was you're right, that's way out of pocket. Way destructive. There was nothing good that was coming out of that incident, especially during that point. And shout out to Mr. Vernon for the Cash App. Shout out to the artisan known as MC for the support, for the squad debrief. But we got to be very honest. Force can be used, but what did he do that condones that level of force? And I challenge anybody to say they were in their God-given right as law enforcement officers to do that. I challenge you to this day. Believe it or not, even Brandon Tatum said they belong in jail. Thug and mafia tactics and mindset does not belong in the military, the fire department, or the police department. And then you have 5 black men to do it. You just set the race back so many years. And this is a time when you need more black police officers. This is ridiculous. You set black men back 20, 30 years with this bullshit and foolishness. Good black male officers are shamed and oh my God. They are not condoning this shit 1 minute. You will not treat us like we're part of that thuggery and foolishness that you've seen. You are supposed to be the protector. The difference between the good guys and the bad guys is this simply. The bad guys use human shields. The good guys are the human shields. I remember listening to the intro to Super Friends. And I think that every police department needs to watch that intro to the Super Friends when they talked about their team mission. And this, in my humble, personal, professional opinion, should be the motto of law enforcement nationwide. Number 1, somebody put this in the chat. To right that which is wrong. Number 1, to right that which is wrong. Somebody put that in the chat. Number 2, to fight injustice. And number 3, to serve mankind. I'm pretty sure that if every police officer followed that, a lot of these incidents would significantly shoot down. I'm pretty sure of that. We got 61 watching, only 48 likes. Please get the likes up. I'm going to say it again for the Negroes in the back who didn't listen. And thank you for putting it in the chat, fellas and ladies. To right that which is wrong, to fight injustice, and to serve mankind. I think that's a pretty damn good motto. And this is coming from a 70s Saturday morning cartoon intro, which is profound. Because every officer is supposed to go out there to right that which is wrong within his scope of capabilities, power, and time. You're supposed to fight injustice, even if it's a drug dealer who was accosted, even if it was a prostitute who was accosted, they deserve justice. So you must fight injustice on their behalf. And last but not least, you are a public servant to the world, especially within your jurisdiction. There are times when you're going to be pissed off, hungry, sleepy, tired. But guess what? That shit doesn't matter because the people need you. You have a duty to them. You have a duty to your unit. You have a duty to your partner. You swore and took an oath. You took an oath. That shit that occurred was not something that the oath they were never even worthy of, obviously. And when they took him down and hit him, and they casually talked about how hard he was hit, how hard he was kicked, how hard he was beaten with a baton sprayed in the face. Yes, police work in some of the most dangerous neighborhoods. I am one of them who worked in some of the most dangerous neighborhoods, not only in Baltimore, not only in the state of Maryland, but some of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the United States of America. Okay? You're supposed to be of service. You're supposed to be the person who puts people in a corner and you guard them with your goddamn life if necessary. You're not supposed to be turning around while you have them in the corner, beating the living shit out of them unjustifiably. You're supposed to be the best of us. That's why they say you're Baltimore's finest, you're Maryland's finest, you're San Diego's finest, LA's finest, Miami's finest, New York's finest, Philly's finest. You're supposed to be the physical representation of law and order and justice. It's no different when I took an oath for the U.S. Army, where I had to serve and defend the Constitution and the people of the United States against enemies, both foreign and domestic. You have to take a similar oath to defend against foreign threats that come on the soil and domestic ones. You're not supposed to be a terrorist your goddamn self. But what do I know? What do I know? And now you're going to give all these yahoos who are actual criminals, not a guy you just pulled out of a fucking car who's a skateboard guy, but you're going to give carte blanche to these fucking criminals out here not to respect black male officers. You just made it an incredibly dangerous job that much more difficult. See, in the black community, because we do know my channel is a black male first channel. All are welcome, but it's going to be black male first. It's bad enough when black men can't get respect from the children, the teenagers, and the women. Do you know how much more fucked up it is to be a black cop with a gun and a badge? And seriously, let's look at this units like the Scorpion unit. Because I'm pretty good, they get a lot of high stats and statistics for arrest, guns, drugs, seizures. But as long as they making you look good saying we're doing this and we got these many guns and drugs off the street, you turn a goddamn blind eye to it, which is not what you're supposed to do. Because this shit was preventable. Matter of fact, 4 days prior to the incident, there was a black man getting a pizza and he was pulled over by the same exact unit, the Scorpion unit. And they had their guns drawn saying, get out the motherfucking car. And they said, where the drugs? And he's like, dude, I just got a pizza. Where's the motherfucking drugs? And they made the man walk. He sent 2 complaints to the Internal Affairs. And it fell upon deaf ears. Now, it took the death of somebody in police custody for you to do something? Come on, man. Come on, man. Really? Something doesn't add the fuck up. I have no problem with officers and detectives going out there hard to do their job. Chasing down the bad guys, shaking down the drug dealers to get the fuck off the block so we can actually rebuild our communities. Getting rid of the rapists, pedophiles, robbers, and murderers. I have no problem with that. If you get into an incident and you got to go hands on, I have no fucking problem with that. But I have an issue with a lack of oversight. I have an issue with a lack of seniority to calm those men down. There should have been somebody of some type of leadership to say, yo, that's enough. That's enough. I'm tired of police departments being reactive instead of proactive. No, you should not defund the police because it's going to put you in a deficit, especially when you and your family needs them. What you need to do is increase the funding for the goddamn training. Give them tools to utilize where you can actually save some lives. God damn. But nobody wants to talk about the real. Nobody wants to spend the money where it needs to be spent. You think they take the fucking money from the police department, they're going to put it into fucking education? Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Now, you don't know if there's some jackass out there or a group of jackasses who were going to make it open season for any black male cop. There, I said it. Should I put the parental advisory sign up there? Here you go. We're going to do some cussing today. But if you want this education, stay tuned. Stuff like this gives idiots and criminals carte blanche to do some damage or harm to black male officers because they want to justify what happened to Tyre, unfortunately. Because some silly ass officers can't control their anger. You can't hold yourself and your fellow officers accountable and say, look, calm down. I understand you hot right now. Take a walk. I got him. It's the little things that fuck up and turn into a goddamn volcanic eruption. I never cared if people recorded me. You can record me with your cell phone. I'm recording you with the body cam. You're a public servant. People, you're out in the public. People can record you while you're in uniform. They can't record you going to the bathroom or something like that. But maybe if those officers acted like they were being recorded by the public, they would have done what they done. But then again, you have body cams on and you're still doing the stupid shit. So it may not have mattered to those motherfuckers. When people talk about police reform, number one, police should be held accountable. Should there be some type of immunity? To a certain extent, yes. Because you'll get a bunch of people who don't have a legit claim trying to sue you every fucking 5 minutes. But yet, you should be held accountable when you do something that's immoral or illegal or unlawful. 2, you should have more people as police from the community that your jurisdiction is in. How do you have a city like Baltimore that's roughly 70% black, but 47% of your police department are white? The math ain't mathing. Shout out to MS Delta guy. Saying defund the police as black people is stupid. I have police in my family. We need to support the good officers. We need them. Facts. What do you mean I give grace? And what do you mean that I'm not projecting? That's what I would like to know. What am I not projecting? Do you get the gist of what I'm saying? Because once again, I did warn people, please do not challenge my expertise in this shit. Been there, done that, and in a week from now, be doing it again. Okay? You need an internal affairs or integrity bureau, whatever the hell they call it themselves now. You need the integrity bureau to decipher the bullshit complaints, because Lord, there's tons of bullshit complaints, versus the substantial ones should get your attention. I remember ID had me called down and I had to get my FOP lawyer, and there was a complaint that I didn't do anything for a call of a strong arm robbery when I actually arrested the suspect. I actually chased him down before he could He was about to take off on his bike, and I caught him before you get some speed. And I asked on body cam, was there anybody else involved? But yet, instead of being thankful that I caught the person who robbed and assaulted their special needs son, they made a complaint. Oh, he didn't do much. And I come down there with my FOP lawyer, and we look at the video, and I said, you even hear me say it? And I had the custom detectives out and say, so you motherfuckers didn't even cancel this? You knew it was bullshit. So either two things happened. You didn't do your fucking job and view the fucking film before we got here. And this is a waste of time. Or two, you were looking for something that wasn't fucking there. Of course, at that time, the crowd goes silent. That's why you need an internal affairs who can decipher through the bullshit versus the actual impertinent shit. Once again, shout out to MS Delta.
By the power of Grayskull.
He says, to all the good black police officers, we appreciate you, we need you, thank you. Salute to you, man. And goddamn, man, this man got so much money, I might need to send some protection agents to watch his back for my company. I always appreciate you, man. Thank you for being a loyal viewer, subscriber, and donator. And thank you all for being loyal and donating. And we're actually breaking records because we're approaching 100. Let's get 100 viewers, man. Let's see if we can get 100 to 150 live viewers like we used to before I got shadow banned. But this is very important to talk about. Because when we look at police reform, we're going to actually have to say, look, do we have sufficient people when it comes to psychiatric treatment? Because police, believe it or not, they always answer to everybody's beck and call, and somehow they got to tell people how to live their life properly and then go home to sometimes their mess. Sometimes some of these police officers are going through divorces like anybody else, and they're going through things. Why not give them the therapist on site? Why not give them people who can train them not only to be better shooters, but to be better judges of character? Why not have them go through scenarios on a monthly basis to tell them, hey, this is how you de-escalate. This is how you de-escalate not only the situation, but yourself. Sometimes you need to pick a hobby. I love gaming. I love weightlifting. I love watching pro wrestling, mixed martial arts, football, go Ravens. You gotta comic books. You gotta have some type of hobby to keep you mentally sane. Now, you need to invest in giving them the best technology, giving them the best tools, putting them in a winning spot. You need to promote people into leadership positions, not because they do a multiple question test, is because of their merit, because of their demeanor. Well, not just because of a multiple question test. Okay? I think that's fair. And there's many other things you can add to that. Many other things. But we, as people, need to take an integral part with our law enforcement officers and support them. We can't go by the wayside and say, hey, fuck the police, defund the police. These are the same people who have to come to your mom, your sister, your daughter, your son, your husbands, your wives, whoever's aid, especially when you're not there. We as a people, especially black people, we need to take a very serious look on how to not only reclaim our cities from violence and drugs, but also to assist the police and to root out any bad apples in the departments. At the same time, why aren't we grooming our children to be law enforcement officers in the first place? Other communities do it, but we fail to do anything. Well, for some reason, they're claiming it was reckless driving, which is not a good enough stop for that shit to happen. That was bullshit. I don't care what anybody said. That was bullshit. It could have been handled many different ways. There's times you go aggressive, and there's times you don't have to be aggressive. Does anybody want to get up on the panel and say something about this? I'm going to put the link in the chat. We're going to try our best to stay on the subject matter. We have Gavin St. Clair.
Hey, hey, hey,
Hey,
Commander
what's up,
Faulkner, how
Gavin?
you doing?
Doing all right. How you feeling today, Kev?
Doing good. I had to come in to work today, but I just got off maybe about a couple of hours ago. But normally I'm off on the weekends. But hey, it is what it is.
Hey, man's job is never done, you know?
That's right. That's right.
So,
Um,
what's your take on this?
Paul, let me put in my earpiece so that there won't be any kind of like background noise.
Okay.
Look, how do I sound? Can you hear me?
Crystal clear. You're good.
Beautiful. Same here. Here's what I find interesting. Okay, it's been released. All five of those members of the cops, all five of those cops were members of a special unit called Scorpion, which
Mm-hmm.
is an acronym for Street Crime Operation, Street Crime Operation to Restore Peace in Our Neighborhood. Scorpion. I live in Los Angeles, and it sounds to me that that Scorpion sounds a lot similar to the elite unit they had in LA years ago, especially in the 90s when the gang was popping up called Crash, the Crash unit. So
Yeah.
you tell me a special unit to deal with gangs and drugs gonna pull over a guy for driving recklessly? They were
I,
unmarked cars. Why didn't they call it on the radio? Hey, to a regular unit, this person, this vehicle with, they got the license plate number, driving southbound, northbound, wherever, and let them handle it. Why are you going to do something as menial as pull or remedial as pull over a guy for reckless driving when you could call it in?
let me tell you what usually happens when we get a reckless driver.
Yes.
And let's say, oh, it's a reckless driver. I'm on Green Mountain 33rd. They're up Cold Spring. We code it out. We code it out and say, David, no. Because by the time I get there, they're gone anyway. So they must have been behind him.
Mm-hmm.
From what it seemed when they did the car stop, it must have been an on view car stop. And they pulled him out, and that was what happened. And I'm like, if you're going to use reckless driving, I'm not sure about the laws in Tennessee or Memphis,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really hard to pull people over reckless driving
Mm-hmm.
unless you explain what was he doing.
And
There's
they
no,
never did.
what does he do that constitute reckless driving?
They never stated why. They just pulled him over when he stopped, opened the door, hauled him out, and started wailing on him. Never read him his rights. I mean, nothing.
And this is a black eye to the Memphis Police Department. I
Black guy to
understand.
the Memphis Police Department with five officers that are black, and the police chief who is a black woman.
Yeah,
Whoa!
it looks bad because
Sorry, I'm late to class.
it's all good in the hood. It
You
looks
still,
bad because you got that black leadership,
Mm-hmm.
those black officers in those units, and the
Mm-hmm.
first thing they're going to say, this is what happens when you give black people power.
Oh yeah.
no, what they should say is this what happened when you let black female leadership lead that power, i.e., all the black female mayors, all these liberal ass states, that all this shit is going haywire underneath their watch.
Evening, gents.
Evening stuff,
Evening.
man.
No, man, how about them 49ers, baby? They ain't shit, just like them cowgirls. Welcome to the party. You still got the Eagles to root for. Fuck it.
Oops.
I'm not worried because I was pulling for both teams anyway because I knew the Niners.
I know you told us last night. That's why I'm razzing. I know you told us last night. You play you straddling the fence though, homie. You know you cannot straddle the fence in an NFC championship game. You had to take a side, and you
Yeah,
refused to take a side.
I
That's
couldn't. Not with
no.
not with
Hey,
those.
aren't you a sportsman? You have to take a side when it's a crucial game. You
Well,
can't.
this
Well,
was
I like this one and I like that one. Let me be neutral. Nope. My granddaddy told me a long time ago. When you play in the fence and you neutral, you in the gray. And when you in the gray, you ain't worth a damn to nobody. Because hey, you gotta pick a side, man. Win, lose, or draw. You know that as a sportsman. Win, lose, or draw. I didn't want to
yeah.
say nothing last night. That's why I'm just playfully razzing with you right now. Fuck them. Fuck them Niners and fuck them Cowgirls, and I don't like them Eagles neither.
Well, the Chiefs and the Bengals are giving us a hell of a fight. That's 20 apiece.
Oh, they
And the
came back
Chiefs
and scored, made it 2020.
it's
Okay, that's
20
what's up.
all. I do have a question for Charles, and I know Charles has spoken about this, and I want to get his opinion on something that's like really bugging me, and it's been bugging me the last few cases that have come out. Why is it such a catch-22 for black male police officers? Because
Yeah,
follow the letter of the law, then you're looked at
Because because one, let's talk about the biggest issue
Okay.
in the door. Okay. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And
Hit that like button.
hit that like button. Don't forget to donate if you feel inclined. Look, in the black community, we call anybody who associates with the police a snitch or a traitor. When in
No, I call you public servant. That's what I call you.
in fact, we don't make a differentiation of the police who are helping us versus the police or the criminals, because I refuse to call anybody police who's doing criminal activity. And you have police who are doing their jobs to the finest of their ability. And this is the first thing they'll do is to use this to fucking do some ill shit. Either shoot at cops, either riot, commit crimes because they know the police are going to be kind of hands-on because of this issue going on live. And they're going to make a really bad excuse. They're going to make a really bad excuse if, you know, to give black men these jobs as law enforcement. They might not outwardly say it, but they'll put some kind of bullshit out there to say, hey, oh, he grew up in this type of neighborhood. So because you grew up in this type of neighborhood, you're disqualified.
Yep.
And then you got to look at the lack of respect that's in our community. And this is what happens when you have a lot of children, especially the boys, raised in single mother homes. I'm not going to make this into a gynocracy speech, but guess what? Part of your crime is because a lot of your boys don't have fucking respect, dignity, and discipline. And it's factual. So if you don't like it, it's on you.
He ain't lying.
So you have boys who don't know when to be cool under pressure, calm under fire, and they get engaged with police, whether if it's justified or not. They should know that your first action is to survive the encounter.
My question is who is teaching this new generation of boys every time they encounter police to run off the rip? They just run.
I mean, some people find it fun to run for the police, believe it or not.
Did you say the key word survive the encounter?
Yeah.
Can you preach that again for those of us with the cheap seats in Memorial Stadium?
I'm not blaming this guy on this situation because those police I didn't see anything they should have stopped them for. Maybe I'm wrong, but from when I'm looking at the tapes, I didn't see anything why he should be stopped. But survive the encounter means use your wits. You're not going to win an argument with a cop on the street. You're just not. We're joined by AB Media. No. You're not going to win that fucking argument. You can't do what you see your mama, your sister, and your Aunt Sally do because you're a man. You're always going to be looked at as a threat. So if you're a guy, a black man of some size, and I feel bad for guys like Snowman who are 6'5", you're going to tower over most officers.
Yeah.
Even though you're as friendly as can be, you have some people, even people of our skin, who have preconceived notions of our people. Like, nigga, you didn't grow up in the black neighborhood yourself?
Well, that's been explained to me by the gentleman in my family when I had my growth spurt in '88, when I grew from 5'7" to 6'1". And even then, you know, my wife explained it to me, you know, and it's the same way you said it, Charles. You could be as friendly as you can be, You can be as friendly as you can be, but the fact that you're standing 6'5", and the fact that well, right now I'm pushing 240, but when I was pushing 340, that's an instant scare.
Yeah.
Uniform or not, that's an instant scare, and that's
Mm-hmm.
like you said, instant preconceived notions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to remember that there have been studies shown where people emphasize the height and weight of black teenage boys.
Well, why do they do that though? That's something I've been wondering. As long as I've been in sports, I've seen it happen there too. Why do you think that happens?
Because of the racial issues we never settled in America.
Hello.
Because of the racial issues we never settled in goddamn America. I don't give a fuck if Obama was president or not. It was nice to see a black face in there, but don't say we're post-racial. We still in America are giving up $50 billion a year for not hiring black men to do jobs they're more than capable and qualified to do.
Don't forget about letting all the illegal immigrants in
Oh
take
yeah,
up jobs.
they bring in immigrants and they're spiting and spitting in the faces of black men who built the motherfucking country.
Yep.
But yet you still have the issues of racial tension, because if you see a black man with a white woman or a Hispanic woman or any other woman, or a black man who's working at a predominant white area and he's walking home from work, hey, what are you doing? Minding my damn business.
Man,
I actually had
that's just
calls
something
where a
you just
guy was sliding. They were in the Guilford community where there's $1 million homes. Literally, they're worth $1 million.
Uh-oh.
He was walking down, minding his business. He seen a guy taking gifts out of a truck, and he slipped and fell, and he went to help the guy up. He helped the guy up, and the wife was screaming, "Get away from him! I'm calling the police!" And we're like, man, did the guy try to hurt your husband? Yes, he grabbed him when he was on the ground, and he told his wife, because he didn't realize she called the police. She told her wife, "Shut the hell up! The man helped me up."
Mm.
But those are stories. I might have to start a Patreon to tell you your ass is still black in America.
Yep.
Yep.
When you start that Patreon, I'd like to be your first guest,
Oh yeah.
because Jody and I can tell you some stories from Michigan City to Terre Haute to Durham and Greensboro and all the small towns within, and North Carolina back up here to Scipio, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
My condolences, man. You and your wife lived in Terre Haute as an interracial couple and made it out alive.
Oh yeah.
God,
Oh yes. We have a. I don't know who's got that feedback, but
yeah,
we have
somebody.
we have a name for Terre Haute. It's called Terrible Haute.
Trust me, I've heard it.
Bro,
She's heard it
Everybody
too.
I've heard, I know that lived in Terre Haute or moved to Terre Haute, for Indiana State, they call it Terrible Haute.
Mm-hmm.
AB, Snowman. When I had to make my first run to Indiana, I knew a little bit about Indiana and what it was about. I was naive. Oh, it's just a Hoosier state. Hoop, hoop, hoop. I took my load up to Terre Haute. Now, mind you, gentlemen, y'all know I'm from the Lone Star State, Texas. I know my fair share of what racism looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But the witness, the way they were looking at me and
Oh,
going out their way not to interact with me, even when I was stopping at truck stops to purchase merchandise. Oh man, I got back on that goddamn Qualcomm and I texted the dispatcher, "You bitch ass motherfucker, don't you ever send me to this racist state no more."
yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
know
gonna go to
brothers.
New York, Evan? Nope, I'm not going to New York. You're not gonna go to Michigan? Nope. Well, you gonna stay in Indiana and Illinois. Okay, well, fuck it. I stay in Indiana, Illinois. I haul my loads. I drop them. I never get out my truck. I make sure I got supplies in my truck. I'll be all right.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
learned. I learned.
I know brothers that lived back during Jim Crow. They've passed now, but I've talked to older brothers who traveled a lot. I had one brother told me I would rather live in Mississippi. And everybody knows how racist Mississippi is.
Mm-hmm.
He
That
said,
whole belt.
but what he told me is, I'd rather live in Mississippi than Indiana because in Mississippi, you at least knew where not to go. They told you where not to go. In Indiana, as Taurine, shout out to Taurine, we still have sundown towns in Indiana.
Hell yeah, y'all do.
I can only vouch for Indianapolis and maybe South Bend. Anywhere else, you don't go down. Don't go there after sundown.
And if you do, you better have a
Yeah.
motherfucking good ass reason. And my reason was I was employed to deliver a load from point A to point B. Get your bitch ass away from my truck.
Found
'Cause
that.
you
Found
got
that
in.
out living in Michigan City. As strange as it sounds. Strange as it sounds. I got done covering the football game. This is before Jody would hang out in the booth with me. I get done covering the game. People heard my voice. They recognize me, and I still get a sidearm look.
Oh yeah, the infamous clutch the purse. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now. You went out.
Okay, yeah, that's not me. I muted up for a second. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of bad echoing going in my fucking earbuds listening to this stuff right now. Thought it was me.
Say it a lot of times when it comes to law enforcement tensions. I've heard a sergeant stand up and say, a black neighborhood having a block party, we got to keep an eye on them because, certain people shouldn't have block parties. And this was a black sergeant who said that.
Mm.
Damn.
And you got to realize
Wow.
racial tension on the sides of the citizens and the police has always been high. I don't even know what possessed them and God's green earth with body cams on, with street cameras on, to not think that they weren't going to get fucking fired and charged with murder.
Mm.
Let alone be caught.
Yeah. Speaking of which, where's Blue Lives Matter? You know what I'm talking about, Charles, not you, but where's Blue Lives Matter?
Oh, Tatum?
No, he's talking about Blue Lives Matter. Period. You know that Blue Lives Matter only.
You know the police
It's only
union,
for the Caucasian.
basically the so-called police union, racist police union officers and white boys. Where they at? Come
Oh,
defend your officer.
they're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. They said it's
I
a
know.
they
But
treat it like a you people problem.
they supposed to defend and support the police no matter what. That's what they tell us. Every single time a white cop does something, you see that goddamn police officers who in front of that union head and be up there talking and standing up. Oh, it's a misjustice of kids. You misconstrued the way we are as police officers, this and that. Let's wait till the investigation comes out, this and that and the third. Oh, they that TV spokesman, they jump up there in a minute ready to defend it. Blue Lives Matter. Okay, you got 5 black cops that them fucked up, just like these white cops fuck up every day. What a fucking Blue Lives Matter is. That's why I say no disrespect to you, Charles. I love you like a brother. But man, you're seeing that Blue Lives Matter pack on this goddamn
I'm going
cop.
to tell you. I'm going to
Irritates
tell
the
you what it
shit out of
really.
me.
I'm going to tell you what it really boils down to. Is that I support law enforcement. Nothing
Mhm.
wrong with that. What I don't support is criminality. Like I
Yeah.
said before, the biggest lesson I learned in Iraq, the difference between the good guys and bad guys, the bad guys use human shields, the good guys are the human shields. That doesn't look like protection. Those white guys were not going to touch that. Blue Lives Matter is not going to touch that. That's a you people problem. I know people said it's fucked up for me to say, yes, it's a you people problem. And that's how they're going to treat it.
I hear you. agree with you, Charles. What you're saying is they love to say it's a you people problem when it's the black officer or black officer. But the minute the white or Latina officer does something, blue lives matter. We got to stand behind our cops. If you standing behind your cops when they wrong, if you the major color or the secondary color, goddamn it, you stand behind those black cops too. You go down with that fucking ship, just like y'all been going down with those other white boys in Mexico. Fuck it. Don't pick and choose your fucking battles. And that's exactly what it looks like to us, the common civilian people looking from the outside looking in. They picking and choosing their battles. They'll stand up for all the gringo white cops and Mexican cops and Italian cops and fucking Vietnamese cops and Asian cops out there who fuck up on a daily basis. And the women too. But let it be a black cop.
Mm-hmm.
You know where to fucking be found. Okay, we're not condoning the fact that those cops did what they did. They wrong as hell. But goddamn it, you stand up for it. Y'all on the same team, be on the same team.
And see, what happens is this. One, I understand the ins and outs. Sometimes, being a cop is like being a mechanic. Most people don't understand how crime is suppressed, just like people don't know the ins and outs of a fucking engine, the motor, the power steering, the belt system. A lot of people don't even know the belt system goes up in your car. The heat is going to overheat. The fan doesn't work, and it's going to be hard as hell to steer that vehicle. So sometimes you got to get down in the dirt and soil to clean it out and to fix it.
Correct.
Same thing with law enforcement. Sometimes you got to be in them alleys chasing after them goddamn drug dealers, them burglars, them robbers, them thieves, them murderers. You got to be down in the depths of dirt and hell with them. But the difference is that just like a mechanic, when you're done after the day, you wash your hands and you come out clean. You're not supposed to become a criminal your goddamn self. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Absolutely. But the thing that gets me is hearing within your statement, because I'm trying to think a little linear. When you say you go after this drug dealer like they're the scum of the earth, and y'all willing to incarcerate them and put them in jail to prove a point. But I don't see these same cops going after Moderna and Pfizer and all these corporation drug people who getting these people hopped up off of everything. Oh wow, oh my bad, I forgot. The Congress and the Senate and the president and them, they deem them they okay, but they claim more drugs than a little bit.
It's disturbing because one, you have an opportunity to take over. I won't say take over, but to bring young black people, especially black boys who are capable of being police officers. Now you're giving them a black eye over it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just shitted on all the black cops who came before you and had to deal with the racism of that establishment.
I wish I could put you, Charles, in a room with those five officers so you could read them the fucking writing. What the fuck was you thinking? How much fucking ego you thought you had to have? You've already got this bad gun, this safety belt in a cop car. What the hell made you thought this was a great idea? The five of y'all that do this man are the same color as you like that. I would love to see you in a
I would just ask this question: what made you forget that your ass is black?
Mm-hmm.
What made you forget that your ass is law enforcement?
I would ask them, what made you forget that you've always fit the description, even if you are a black cop?
And then, what God given right? What rights did God give you to take that boy's life?
No, Charles, they thought they was gonna get my ass kicked in a lifetime. They never did in the back of their recessive brain think that we're fucking this boy up to a point where he can literally die. They wasn't thinking that. They just thought, oh, we gonna rough him up, show him what's what. We officers of the goddamn law. No disrespect to you, because you are a good officer of the law. They too. Your slogan of being an officer of the law is disgraceful.
I just want to know What made them think that this was proper policing? What the fuck's wrong with you, man? But then we're going to have some people who condone this and say, I stand by the officers. You cannot stand by that fuckery. That's disturbing. That is disturbing as hell. Wait a minute. You were a medic in the Marines. The Marines don't have their own medical corps. They're under the Navy. So you must have been either in the Navy or you weren't in the Marines. But anyway, back on subject. You got to understand that there has to be not only checks and balances, but there has to be something done to prevent this. And people don't want to talk about real reform. People want the shortcut shit. Yes, you should take an audit. There should have been a supervisor on scene. They shouldn't just be out there by themselves. I mean, really. What?
Charles, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay. Let me ask you. You said what you studied research for this situation that these officers are trying to say that he was reckless driving, correct?
Right.
Okay. Isn't that a mere traffic violation that's subject to a citation, a ticket? But in some states, I do know that they can take you to jail. But in most states, it's just a ticket,
It's a
correct?
citation. It's a citation. Really, in Maryland, reckless driving, you have to go to court because it's a citation. You have to show up to court. It shouldn't have got to the point where they got to now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get and allude to. How the hell can you take a routine traffic stop and turn it into this?
And that was like a little too much.
Quick update. We have a final. Harrison Butker hit the 45-yard field goal. Chiefs 23, Bengals 20. That's a final.
Oh, the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Just gone final. So now our Super Bowl features Eagles and Chiefs from Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
Oh, this should be fun.
Should be interesting.
Charles, I'll give you 3 guesses as to what the main narrative is going to be from our community coming into the Super Bowl. And I'll add this caveat
What's that,
from folks that don't watch football.
And what's that?
2 black quarterbacks.
2 black quarterbacks.
Ooh. Two black.
We are going to hear it. I will.
Wait a minute, Snowman. No Tom Brady.
No Tom Brady.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I'll be right.
This is a decent one.
I'll be back.
Okay. This is a decent one, man.
Oh no, who would have thought?
I'm gonna say this is that a lot of this talk about reform, excuse me, needs to be more than just talk. You feel me?
Yeah.
You have to actually say, look, we got to give these police, we got to give them some type of help when it comes to mental distress.
Agreed.
We need to give them resources. We need to start having more, you know, more options for less lethal tools. The development of that should have been, galvanized.
Do you think they should like rewrite how they structure their whole police union? So
What
they won't get
happened?
over protection the way they are when they situations like this happen.
What protection did they receive?
Well, I mean, they're not comparing it to other situations where officers do certain things and they actually got away with it, ways and stuff.
They're not getting any protection. They're
Yeah,
fired.
yeah,
That's
I
it.
know they're fired. Yeah, but people can compare this to other situations also too. With other officers got away with it. They either gonna get transferred or whatsoever. Like but
Most don't
this
get
is lucky we
transferred.
saw them getting fired and stuff.
Most
They
don't
got
get
what they deserve.
transferred. So you got to understand. Do I believe in immunity to a certain degree? Yes, because you don't want everybody to just be fucking with you for little frivolous shit. Oh yeah, he did this to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So they should have some type of immunity. What should happen is that if you're caught doing something you're not supposed to do, go on your own.
Mm-hmm. Funny though. I remember Dr. Thunder earlier and stuff. He said that he heard that the victim, the reason why they did this to him, one of the reasons that he was sleeping with one of the cops' wife.
I think that was a rumor. I'm
Yeah,
not going to
I
go
I
by.
feel
heard
like
that
it was
kind
like
of
a
more
rumor
behind
too.
the scenes. I wasn't sure if it was true or not, so I wanted to wait to see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was true though, because this really even makes it even more worse with the on cop with the this look like definitely a hit, personal
We're
hit.
not going to go. We're not going to go by rumors till we get proof.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rick said, I don't see why a special unit was used for being in traffic duty in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, spoken like a true person who don't understand law enforcement.
Elaborate.
Most specialized units use traffic patrols,
Interesting. Okay.
even SWAT. If you have a big area, you're going to have 2 or 3 SWAT officers in that area. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they already in the trunks of their cars. They already have their gear and their weaponry.
That kind of makes sense because when they want to catch somebody here, they will block off the street in a hot second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're there looking for guns and drugs, what's the number one way people transport guns and drugs? Through cars.
That's like got those police stops at a random stops.
So it makes plenty of sense why they did it. And besides, it's easy to justify, after a car stop, okay, this person's dipping down, there's hiding shit on them. You get more out of stopping vehicles anyway, because that's how a lot of shit gets transported.
This what I kind of like was like when Dr. Thunder was saying earlier about he would have ran too because out of fear of his life and everything. I'm like, are you crazy?
There are some
I was
people
in the child. I was like, I would never ran. Like, yo, I'm gonna just comply as much as I can cooperate. Because, like, remember they beat him down after he ran, like not before.
there's some
Male
people
logic
who
in the house.
there's some people who will run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. As I promised, let me tie in real quick, and I'm going to hit this hard on both my shows tomorrow. What's going to happen at the Super Bowl to what is already happening, and just on the cusp of Black History Month.
Oh, that's right. It's Black History Month next month. Go
Oh
ahead.
damn. February starts our month, and look how
Why
it
do I?
started.
Why do I love Male Logic's reaction to that? But here's what's going to happen with everything that's going on with this particular case, and the fact that there factually are two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. How much do you want to bet those lines will be blurred? How much you want to bet those lines? How much do you want to bet those lines will be blurred? And on my side, it's going to be blurred by people that don't even watch the damn game. Because, like I said, you already know what the narrative they're going to tie in is.
Yep.
Yeah, you know the sports Stevens police will come out on this.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they came out when you had Tony Dungy coaching against Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith.
Oh,
Exactly.
they didn't like that Super Bowl. They think about what I'm about to say. No man, and you was there. We lived it. All of us on the time. That was one of the most quietest Super Bowls you ever heard about. They
Yep.
made sure to keep it down play. But guess what? You ain't gonna be able to do that to this one because Patrick Mahomes is damn near bright white and light bright, and he got a white girlfriend. And so if you keep this shit down and not bring it to the magnitude where it's supposed to be, oh, you don't see that backlash. Trust me. Because
It's
come
already coming.
in the
It's already
morning,
coming.
you will see ESPN doing what the fuck ESPN does.
It's already coming. It's already coming. They don't want to celebrate the fact that the two best quarterbacks remain playing in the Super Bowl. They don't want to celebrate looking at their play. They're going to look at everything else.
And I bet you they're going to bring a lot of these issues into that stadium.
This is Phoenix, Arizona, or more importantly, this is Glendale, Arizona. All right.
Middle desert.
Y'all remember a song from Public Enemy? By the time I get to Arizona, do I need to explain anything else?
Nope, surrounded by mountains. As you can see, I've been to Arizona. I've been to Phoenix. So I know. That's how I know.
Well, it's one of the it's the place where wife and I want to go. I mean, we want to head west. We've talked about it, but in staying on topic. I'm gonna tear this to shreds tomorrow morning on my Snowman's Take, and I think I have that for hour 2. I'll have to wait for the slate when Cole gets it to me.
Shout out to the faithful, the Electrician 480.
Electrician 480. Shout out to you.
Shout out, brother.
But look at how many trips are going to come out of this, and we're not even close to February 12th. Last year, it was all about the halftime show, which barely lasted 15 minutes.
I want to point this out to you real quick. Number one, have you noticed that we're not even in Black History Month yet? You notice that they every time you see Black Lives Matter or some institutions like that damn near die, it's always some stupid shit like this going to resurrect it. And this is the perfect opportunity for some racists because they're going to be like, see, I told you black people prefer white people to police them.
No, and no man, this is all you gonna hear for the next 2 weeks. They're not elite black quarterbacks. They're just system quarterbacks. They're in the spread offense running these systems, so they're system quarterbacks. But I couldn't score. Allen and Buffalo's running the same offense. Joe Burrow's running the same type of offense.
I mean, look what they do. All
versions. Here's where it gets lost. And except for those of us on the panel and those in the chat that actually remember the time, here's where it gets lost. Who was the coach that was the inventor of the famed West Coast offense?
Bill Walsh.
That would be the late great Bill Walsh.
Offensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals underneath Paul Brown. It's actually Paul Brown's offense.
And Bill Walsh took it and added so many wrinkles to it, it's not even funny.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They added so many. Bill Walsh added so many wrinkles to it, it's not even funny. Every team in the NFL now has a version of the West Coast offense.
Yep.
So in essence, every quarterback that starts is part of a system. So why don't they give the person who invented the system his proper due?
Black.
Bingo.
You know what? By the way,
Bingo.
y'all mentioned Black Lives Matter. I already put out a disclaimer. PSA: Black Lives Matter does not represent me because I'm still alive. Anything to do on behalf of Tyre Nichols it doesn't represent me.
And they're gonna try to find a way to weasel some money out of this shit.
If they haven't started already.
Oh boy, y'all know Patrice Culler's brain is just turning right about now. Turning.
And they already did some protests in New York. Damn
We
fool
already
kid got
know.
arrested for stomping a police car front window.
What
So
did
yeah,
I tell you?
we just help this damn strag of the BLM movement get another $1 million to buy another house for her damn family or
What did I
ex-style
tell you?
baby daddy.
What did I tell you? There's a fallout that we have not seen yet, where they're gonna use this bullshit to make an excuse for people to do criminality.
And there's going to be bigger excuses now as the big game heads west. And stays west, because where's the Super Bowl next year? Las Vegas, Nevada.
I mean, look at it. I tell people this thing is going to be some heavy ramifications. There were many things that they shouldn't have done. Hey, Toya. Hey, Gab. There's many things that should have been done and prevented. You're going to see people get fired off of not even just de-escalating, because they're going to accept you to being part of the shit anyway. I'm just wondering, like, I want to see what BLM, I want to see what politics are going to be like. You're going to see every little ashy fucking politician walking hand in hand with these fucking traitorous ass motherfuckers. Oh, we're for Black Lives Matter. Okay. But yet, how many people get shot in our communities every day and we don't hear no high ass of you?
Oh, Charles.
It's like my beautiful Jody says best when she sees situations like this. Start the shit show now and let me duck and get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles, look, another thing also too. This situation is going to help the black transformers now get more money in their pocket behind this mess.
I got abused by the police too.
Exactly.
Even though they won't tell you they were locked up for prostitution.
Yep.
Y'all gotta
Our
think
lives
about it.
matter because we're transformers more than meets the eye, he, she, or comes. Oh man.
You meant meat between her thighs, but anyway.
Oh damn, I didn't want to say that far, but
Hell, you get the ancient of the war, baby. The ancient of war, baby. I know you see a bad stuff. Who's in there? Oh, there you go, AB. I know you faster than your ancient of the war.
Just when we thought Charles had come up with it all, he says, "Hold my beer and my cigar," and throws one out of left field.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of them. A lot of people don't know this. The two reasons they decriminalize prostitution in certain cities like Baltimore is not only to help the women, but the transformers.
What they did in New York was just turn a blind eye, but they still trying to combat the trafficking and that shit. But it's just, and I try to get after the Johns, but still ain't working. Some professional chicks knew this bullshit in this law because well, it's not even a law, but what they doing, but they know the bullshit in this.
Were you like justified by what? What are you talking about, Lloyd? Charles, was this justified? No. How many times have I said no? How can you just? Here's the question: Is not was it justified, but what fucking cockamamie scheme can somebody say this is justifiable?
Don't answer that question.
I mean, if people want to, I'm gonna tell you. You can do whatever you like in law enforcement as long as you can justify it. There's nothing you can justify. This is sad. 5, 6 people are involved with this shit. 5 are going to jail. 1's dead. Think about it. They're going to go to jail. Like, let me just inform you now. They're going to jail. America will burn if they get acquitted. Unless they got a secret tape where he's pulling the gun out or he's pulling one of their guns, they're going to jail.
And
I'm sorry. There's nothing to justify this. I'm sorry. And I'm going to say this because, yes, they do deserve their proper day in court. We are still under the American Constitution, so
yeah.
Yes, they're innocent before proven guilty, but goddamn, they're going to go to jail. I mean, if fucking okay,
if they don't,
they're gonna get locked up faster than the white if it was white officers doing this.
If Tory Lane went to jail and they found no fucking evidence or DNA evidence on the gun, but they found a female's, what the fuck you think they're gonna do when they got video recording of this shit? Several of them.
Oh boy.
And these are black officers.
I want y'all to remember that.
Speaking of that, y'all know the one thing is now that Megan is pregnant allegedly.
Yeah, who knocked her up?
I didn't think it was possible after seeing that video, but go ahead.
I think Mr. Ed. Well, she is a stallion, so it makes sense.
Sorry, Charles.
I go with Swift
I think I'll
putting that theme song in my head. Now I gotta dig it out and use it. Damn you!
What'd you say, AL?
I was asking. I believe the reverb is coming from your ear. Is there any? You can go back there and come back.
I'm gonna just mute up and see if it sounds better.
Can y'all hear me? Yeah, that's you,
Yes.
Charles. That's you.
Yeah, that's you, Charles. Yeah, I think
Probably because I got my iPad on the charger.
Oh,
But,
that's one.
you know, I'll be right back. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Y'all got to realize this. I'm going to say this real quick, and then I'm going to go take care of something. There's nothing you can do to justify this. They deserve to get fired because they were unbecoming of an officer. They were brutal. They were vicious. They were a detriment to society and not a benefit. So they deserve what they got when they got fired. Now, when they go to court, remember, innocent until proven guilty, but they're going to jail. And deservedly so. You beat a man unconscious until he died a few days later. That's nothing you can justify. But I'll be right back.
Not a thing.
Hell, something just came over my feed a while ago in California. Another mass shooting, 7 shot, 3 wounded. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh man.
Yeah, I know.
Oh
There's
boy.
like 3 of them last week, all in a, like within a 1 or 2 day period. I was like, damn, what's going on?
You know what's going on, AB. It's getting close to Black History Month. They getting antsy. They got to use their bullets.
Yeah, but we didn't do any of the mass station. Oops, who could have saw that coming?
Did you say, AL, did you say getting antsy?
Yeah, they're getting antsy.
I have a news flash for you. They've been antsy.
Oh, shit. No shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, AL, couldn't help that one. Too easy.
It's okay. I see your low sliding curve. You know, you hit it at the park.
Hey, I wish I could have sent Snowman that Super Mario TikTok.
Which
boy, I had to
Which
write
one?
back on that one. He got a good award for me today on that one, boy. Ooh, that was a good one, boy. I say, AB, you need to stop.
Okay, AB, what are you sending me, and what am I looking for?
Is pretty much if Super Mario was black on TikTok. You have to look it up. I don't have the link right now, but you have to look it up. It was hilarious.
This I now have to see.
It was basically if Mario and Luigi were black dudes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they were treating the princess like the princess didn't want. Mario kept trying to save the princess, and
Mhm.
Luigi was telling him, "Why are you saving this hoe? She ain't
Yeah,
giving you
he's giving
no
up that
ass.
coochie. He's like, no. He's like,
No, we
man,
not doing this no more."
yeah, that was funny.
AB,
Yeah.
I just saw a snippet of it. You ain't got a lick of sense.
No, I'm not gonna let you say that about my homeboy. My homeboy got all the liquor sense in the world. He just won that he ain't
Put it in the
terrible.
back check. Put it in the back check. I want to see it.
It's hilarious.
I AB,
Yeah.
I'll give you this.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And you know I'm gonna watch the damn thing. And also, AB, a tune-up for Wednesday.
Michael on the drive across the lane. Turnaround shot. Got it. 63 for Jordan.
Ooh, I'm glad you said that. I need to check the NBA, my NBA score stats.
That's a tune-up for Wednesday, and that's all I'll say.
Oh, what did the Bronx Sexuals do now?
Before I turned my DMs off.
If you saw the end of last night's game against the Celtics, you'll have your answer.
Previously, before I turned my DMs off, would stop coming in my shit saying, "Not all men." No fucking shit, bitch. Y'all want me to be that lesbian that hates men so bad, and I don't even hate men like that, bro.
Yes, who's the mother?
Y'all
Mel?
want me to be that lesbian that hates men.
Mel, I have one question and one question only.
What in the all types of blue hell
Was that?
I don't pay this long.
You're out. Yeah.
That sounds like me on my computer. It is 10:30. I'm gonna throw a few sounds and then I'm gonna go crash.
Yeah, I'm about to do the same.
But before I go,
Tiger uppercut.
an AB for Wednesday.
Fucking up, but okay.
You can.
You motherfuckers
They're like-
that
they're
got
like
accepted
11
into my
flex, so yeah,
DMs
they're messing
previously
up.
before I turned my DMs off would stop coming in my shit saying, "Not all men." No fucking shit, bitch. Y'all want me to be that lesbian that hates men so bad, and I don't even hate men like that, bro.
Yes, who's the mother? And who's the daughter?
Let's go take off.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God! Yes!
That just doesn't sound right at all.
Rich parties them know man style. Big Ben spark up and last big pan Kyle. Bossy boss one go run.
you tripping?
Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York.
Y'all ever see the white dude is always whooping some
Yes.
always whooping like ah he's screaming real loud. Once he whoops, I'm like what is wrong with that dude? I could not make content like that.
I hear the cookie alarm, so I'm gonna get a sample of my wife's cookies and I'm headed to bed.
No, nigga, you better not eat them cookies. You better not. You already weigh too much. Nope.
I don't weigh enough. I don't weigh enough. Let me get out of here. All right, y'all. I love you. I'm calling it a night. I will talk to y'all soon.
All right, peace out.
Out.
But yeah, I had to share that AL, man. That was just hilarious.
Yeah, I looked up my phone. I said, email message. I was like, let me check this out. Hey, B, yeah, let me see. Yeah, I played this shit. I said, this shit out there. Hey, real shit. Have you been getting those emails I've been sending you and the guys about certain shit?
Yeah, I need to check them out.
Yeah. I've been trying to send you some relevant shit so y'all can work with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 'cause I need to make some more shorts.
Shit, I send you as much as I can. I be thinking sometimes you see them before I do.
Oh, Snowman left.
Yeah.
And like somebody at the bit of it.
Somebody at the keyboard, he typing hard.
Some angry types.
Stop typing in all caps.
Angry types,
Now,
man.
wait a minute. AL. Now, don't talk to these bitter black women like that. Oops, did I say that out loud?
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Was
I'ma
this
tell you
Angry
about
Man
yourself,
that sent
nigga.
me? You sent me that thing on. Angry Man was doing an interview with a white guy, and that black chick was critiquing it and losing her
Yeah, that was
mind.
me.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even watch it all the way through. I started getting the more and more she started talking, the more and more I said, oh, I'm not gonna do it. This bitch don't know what she's talking about. She just mad to be mad.
Yeah, I actually know the heifer. I've been on some panels with her, and I'm like, okay, you want to go down that route? Okay.
I'm
Don't
gonna
ask
tell,
me to save you.
I'm gonna tell you, man. We're gonna get all kinds of fuckery already. I'm just like, God damn. Can a nigga make it at least 4 months in the year before we get some stupid shit like this? Hmm.
Yeah, I hate to say it's probably just the beginning. These people wilding out. Every
Unfortunately.
time, every time I turn around, a chick's wilding out at the airport. I'm like, damn, what is wrong with you, heifers? I know there's a lot of friction with the airlines, but man,
No, you know what it is. Lack of male leadership. Don't want to follow. Don't want to submit. Don't want to obey. Think they can talk to anybody in public like they got a sack and won't no consequences, repercussions come to them until they run up on the wrong person or individual who puts them in their place or puts them down. Then they want to go into victim mode. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less.
yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
true.
just say, I'm gonna just say this, man. Black men, black women, protect yourself at all times. Firearms training, medical training, but also when you confront the police, try to comply as much as you can. Get out the situation and survive. Then do what you got to do.
Yep.
Because this is going to get ugly, and I'm expecting some type of retaliation against black male officers. And it's going to be like black on black crime, and somebody out there really is trying to force a goddamn race war. Somebody's hell bent on that shit.
You know what, Charles? I actually believe you're right. For the simple fact that think about it, for the last 3.5 years, they've been trying it hard with using white officers to provoke us, and we've been being as docile as possible and waiting to see how the outcomes are gonna be. And even when the outcomes weren't all the way to our satisfaction, we still stayed in chill mode. So the powers that be, they're not liking it. Somebody in those high power circles, they want to see anarchy and turmoil go on because they want to see the depopulation of us amongst other people also. But that's just my opinion.
You can't rule the people if they're unified. Okay? It's hard to rule a unified people. Because if you really want America to be the land of the free, then there's a lot of people. There's one group of people you never gave them freedom since. But anyway, I'm gonna shut it down, and I'm gonna see y'all sometime probably tomorrow or Tuesday.
That's
Thank
what's
Have a
you.
up.
good one, Carl.
Good show. Good
Thank
show.
you all for watching and listening to my 2 cents. Hopefully, y'all got some good information out of it. Come back if you want to hear the truth about law enforcement, man. From the officer, soon to be sergeant, of the goddamn law.